There was a time in my life when I felt stuck, full of dreams but no direction. I watched others succeed, wondering what secret formula they had that I didn't. But over time, I discovered it wasn't luck or talent that made the difference. It was mindset and daily habits. Today, I want to share with you 5 simple rules that completely changed my life. These aren't just motivational quotes. They're practical principles I started living by, and they've helped me launch my YouTube channel, build confidence, and stay focused on my goals. If you're someone who's searching for clarity, consistency, or that spark to finally take action, this talk is for you. There was a time when I kept telling myself, I'll start tomorrow. Whether it was launching a project, sharing my content, or even learning a new skill, I always thought I needed more time to prepare. I believed I had to be fully ready, fully confident, and fully perfect before taking the first step. But that day of readiness never came. I kept waiting, kept overthinking, and as a result, stayed stuck in the same place. Everything changed when I embraced one simple rule: start before you're ready. When I first began creating motivational content, especially for YouTube, I had countless doubts. What if people didn't like my voice? What if the message didn't resonate? What if the editing wasn't good enough? But I realized that every successful creator I admired once stood at the very place I was, unsure, unpolished, but willing to begin. That realization pushed me into action. I chose to start with what I had where I was and with the skills I already possessed, even if they didn't feel enough at the time. And something incredible happened. By taking that first imperfect step, I opened the door to growth. I learned more by doing than I ever did by planning. My voice got better, my editing improved, and most importantly, I began to connect with people. I realized the world doesn't need your perfection. It needs your honesty and your effort. Waiting for the perfect time and just fear-wearing a mask. The truth is, progress doesn't come from standing still. It comes from movement, even if that movement is messy and uncertain. Starting before you're ready doesn't mean being careless. It means having the courage to move forward despite fear. It's about trusting that you'll figure things out along the way. And that trust builds self-confidence, not because you have all the answers, but because you've proven to yourself that you can grow through action. Every attempt, every failure becomes part of your story. And that story is what truly connects with others. So if there's something on your heart that you've been putting off, don't wait for the perfect version of you to show up. Just begin. When I first started creating motivational videos, especially using AI voiceovers, I struggled with a strange feeling, like my voice didn't matter. I wasn't the one speaking after all. It wasn't my real voice. So would anyone care? Would it even sound authentic? That doubt held me back for a while. But over time, I realized that belief isn't just about how you sound. It's about the message you carry and how deeply you believe in its power. And that became one of the most life-changing rules for me. Believe in your voice, even if it's digital. In today's world, we often compare ourselves to others. We look at people with studio setups, professional gear, polished speech, and think, I can't compete with that. But I learned that people don't connect with perfection. They connect with honesty, emotion, and purpose. My content started resonating more when I stopped trying to sound like someone else and started owning my message. Even though I used AI voiceovers, every script came from real experiences, real emotions, and the genuine desire to help someone feel stronger. What truly surprised me was the response from my audience. People began commenting not on how the voice sounded, but on how the words made them feel. That's when I understood. Your voice isn't limited to your vocal cords. It's the energy behind your message. It's the clarity of your purpose. Whether you speak through AI, subtitles, visuals, or your own voice, if it comes from a place of truth, people will hear it. Believing in your voice is also about trusting that your perspective is valuable. No one has lived your exact life, faced your exact struggles, or learned your exact lessons. That means your message has a unique power that no one else can replicate. Once I fully embraced this, I stopped hiding behind doubt and started creating boldly. And the more I created, the more confident I became, not because I had all the answers, but because I was finally showing up as me. So no matter how you express yourself digitally, visually, or vocally, remember, your voice matters, your story matters, and someone out there needs to hear it. In the beginning, I thought success meant doing everything myself and doing it the hard way. I spent hours trying to perfect every detail, editing videos manually, creating graphics from scratch, and trying to sound like a professional studio without the right tools. It was exhausting and progress felt painfully slow. Then I came across a rule that shifted everything. Use every tool to serve a purpose. Not to cut corners, but to work smarter. That mindset didn't just save time. It transformed my entire workflow and gave me space to focus on what really mattered. As a creator using AI voiceovers, I realized that technology wasn't something to be ashamed of. It was a powerful resource. Instead of spending hours recording voice lines, I could put that time into refining the script or improving the visual presentation. Instead of worrying about not having a camera or mic, I used stock footage, typography, and editing tools that help bring my message to life. I learned to embrace tools like text-to-speech, auto-captioning, AI-enhanced visuals, and copyright-free libraries, not as shortcuts, but as smart extensions of my creativity. What matters most is how you use these tools. I didn't let them replace the heart of my work. I let them enhance it. Each tool became a part of my creative process, not a crutch. I focused on the quality of the content, the emotional impact of the message, and the experience I was delivering to the viewer. When I started aligning tools with purpose, everything became more efficient. I could create more, improve faster, and reach more people without burning out. There's a lesson here beyond just content creation. In life, we often overlook the support around us. We think we have to struggle to prove ourselves, but the truth is, tools, whether they're digital, human, or personal habits, are there to help us move forward. It's not about doing everything alone. It's about using what's available with intention and direction. So now, before I begin any project, I ask myself, what's the goal? And which tools will help me serve that goal best? That question alone has saved me countless hours and made my work far more impactful. And there's a powerful excitement that comes with motivation. You hear a great quote, watch an inspiring video, and feel like you're ready to conquer the world. I've felt that rush many times, especially when I was just starting to build my channel. But I soon discovered something important. That feeling fades. Motivation is like a spark. It can light a fire, but it won't keep it burning. What truly changed my life was learning that discipline is greater than motivation. When I first committed to creating regular motivational content, I was full of energy. I had ideas, passion, and a vision. But after a few days, life got busy. I felt tired. Views were low. The excitement wore off. That's when I faced the real challenge. Not creating when I felt inspired, but creating when I didn't. And that's where discipline stepped in. It wasn't glamorous, and it didn't always feel good, but it kept me moving forward when motivation disappeared. Discipline is about showing up consistently, even when you don't feel like it. I created a schedule and held myself to it. I wrote scripts when I was mentally drained. I edited videos when I would have rather done anything else. And those moments, those quiet, unseen choices became the backbone of my growth. They taught me that progress isn't made in bursts of excitement. It's made in the ordinary, repeated actions that slowly build results over time. This mindset shift affected more than just my content. It changed how I lived. I stopped waiting to feel ready or feel inspired. Instead, I built routines that supported my goals. I trained myself to follow through, not based on emotion, but based on commitment. Discipline gave me something motivation never could: control. It put me in charge of my progress, my habits, and my future. And ironically, the more disciplined I became, the more often I found motivation returning, because nothing is more motivating than seeing your own progress. When you realize you're capable of showing up for yourself, even on the hard days, your confidence grows. You stop relying on external energy and start creating your own. That's the quiet power of discipline. It may not feel exciting in the moment, but it's the reason real transformation happens. Ideas are powerful. They ignite our dreams and fuel our ambitions. But I learned early on that having an idea alone isn't enough to create change. I used to spend hours planning, imagining the perfect video, the perfect message, the perfect moment to launch. But without action, those ideas stayed just that, ideas. The real transformation happened only when I moved from dreaming to doing. Turning ideas into action became one of the most important rules in my life. It wasn't always easy. Taking that first step felt risky and uncomfortable, especially because I feared failure or rejection. But I realized that waiting for certainty or perfection only kept me stuck. Every successful project, every piece of content that made a difference started with imperfect action. Doing means embracing the process, the trial and error, the learning from mistakes, the constant adjustment. It means showing up consistently and pushing through self-doubt. That's how I developed my skills, built my confidence, and grew my channel. Each time I took action, no matter how small, I moved closer to my goals. This rule taught me that growth isn't about giant leaps. It's about steady steps forward. It's the daily habit of turning thought into effort that creates momentum. When you act, you open doors to new opportunities and discoveries you couldn't see from the sidelines. So if you find yourself stuck in your ideas or dreams, remember, action is the bridge that connects possibility to reality. Don't wait for everything to be perfect. Start now, keep going, and watch your life change through what you do. As I've shared with you today, these 5 rules, starting before you're ready, believing in your voice, using every tool with purpose, choosing discipline over fleeting motivation, and serving others first, not just abstract ideas. They are practical steps that transform my life and can transform yours too. Life won't wait for the perfect moment or perfect conditions, but it will reward those who take bold, consistent action. When you embrace these principles, you build not only success, but also confidence, connection, and true growth. So whatever your dreams or goals may be, remember this: it's not about waiting for the right time or the perfect version of yourself. It's about starting now, trusting your voice, and committing to the journey. That's where real change begins.